What's good, basketball family? Welcome back to the channel. Yo, hoopheads! Let's have a real conversation for a second. We've all seen it every decade or so. A player comes along who just feels like a glitch in the matrix, a cheat code created in a lab. We're talking about the guys who fundamentally changed the geometry of the court. And right now, that guy is Victor Wemby. But what happens when a force of nature, a player who seems destined for nothing but greatness, runs headfirst into a wall? And I'm not talking about a hard screen from Steven Adams. I'm talking about a real career-threatening medical issue. Let's rewind the clock to February 2025. The basketball world collectively held its breath. The news dropped like a ton of bricks. Wemby was out for the rest of the season, and it wasn't a twisted ankle or a sore knee. Man, the diagnosis was deep vein thrombosis, DVT. For those who don't know, that's a blood clot, usually in the leg, and it's no joke. It's the kind of thing that makes you forget about basketball and think about life. The Spurs, who were finally looking like they might sneak into the playoffs, saw their season completely derail. They free fell to 13th in the West with a 34-48 record. The dream felt like it was on hold indefinitely. For any other player, the narrative would be simple. Can he make a full recovery and get back on the court? But this is Victor Wembanyama. We're talking about the questions are different. The expectations are cosmic. This isn't just a story about recovery. It's a story about revenge. A revenge tour against fate itself. Today, we're diving deep into the dawn of a new era in San Antonio. We are laying out 3 bold, audacious predictions for Wemby's 2020-5-20-6 season that prove this isn't just a comeback, it's a coronation. Stick around, because the alien is about to land for good. So let's set the stage properly. That sophomore season was supposed to be the launching pad, and in 46 games, it absolutely was. Before he got shut down, Wemby was putting up video game numbers. I'm talking 24.3 points, 11 rebounds, 3.4 assists, and a mind-boggling 3.8 blocks per game. He was shooting over 55% from the field and over 35% from 3. You have to understand how ridiculous that is. A 7'4" guy moving like a guard, shooting like a wing, and protecting the rim better than anyone on the planet. He was already a two-way monster. The eye test confirmed what the stats were screaming. This was a generational talent, and the only thing that could possibly stop him was his own body. And for a moment, it looked like it might. The DVT diagnosis was terrifying. It brought back memories of guys like Chris Bosh, whose careers were cut short by similar issues. The collective angst was this incredible, unique frame, just too fragile for the grind of an 82-game NBA season. The Spurs, meanwhile, were facing their own existential crisis. They were officially entering a new era, saying a heartfelt farewell to the legendary Greg Popovich, the architect of 5 championships. The keys were handed to a new coach, Mitch Johnson, tasked with navigating this post-Popovich and now post-Wemby and Jiri world. It felt like the franchise was at a crossroads, teetering between a bright future and a cursed reality. But here's where the story takes a turn. Here's where the comeback begins. Because while the world was worrying, Wemby was working, and his offseason wasn't your typical NBA regimen of shooting drills and weightlifting. No, this was something else entirely. He described his summer training as, and I quote, brutal. This wasn't just about getting his body back. It was about building a fortress. He traveled to China and Japan. He wasn't there for a sneaker tour, dude. He was practicing Chan meditation and Shaolin Kung Fu. Let that sink in. The most unique physical specimen in sports history was adopting the ancient practices of monks and warriors to rebuild himself. He was focusing on balance, on core strength, on a mind-body connection that goes deeper than just basketball. He knew that to carry the weight of a franchise, he had to be more than just a tall, skilled player. He had to be unbreakable from the inside out. He was trading some time on his jump shot to build a foundation that could withstand anything. This is the hero's journey. playing out in real time. It's the conflict of man versus his own mortality, his own physical limitations. And Wemby chose to fight back with a discipline puka sportsmen have ever explored. That's the kind of obsessive focus that separates the greats from the legends. It's the Mamba mentality, remixed with Eastern philosophy. And while Wemby was fortifying his body and soul, the Spurs front office was assembling an army. Now check this out, because this is where it gets crazy. San Antonio didn't just sit back and wait for their star to heal. They went on the offensive. They made a move that sent shockwaves through the league. They traded for De'Aaron Fox. Let's just pause and appreciate that. You're pairing one of the fastest, most explosive point guards in the NBA, a guy who lives in the paint and puts relentless pressure on the rim, with a 7'4" defensive black hole who can pop, roll, or post up. How do you even game plan for that? A Fox and Wemby pick and roll is a basketball nightmare. You go under the screen, and Wemby has a mile of space to roll to the rim for a lob. You switch, and you have a small guard on Wemby, or a big man trying to stay in front of Fox on the perimeter. It's a defensive Sophie's choice. But they didn't stop there. In the 2025 draft, they had the number 2 and number 14 picks, and they nailed them. They added Rutgers superstar Dylan Harper, a dynamic guard who can create his own shot, and Carter Bryant, a versatile forward. Think about this young core. You have Wemby, you have Stephon Casa, the previous Rookie of the Year. Now you've got De'Aaron Fox, a proven all-star, and 2 highlighter talents in Harper and Bryant. That's not even mentioning their existing guys like Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson, and they made a savvy veteran move, signing center Luke Kornet to eat up some minutes and give Wemby a breather, showing they're serious about managing his health. The Spurs front office looked at their generational talent and said, "We are not wasting a single second of his prime." They built a roster that's young, athletic, versatile, and tailor-made to amplify everything Wemby does well. So with the hero reborn and his new army assembled, the stage is set. And that brings us to our 3 bold predictions for the season. That will change everything. Prediction number 1, Victor Wembanyama will win the Defensive Player of the Year award. And frankly, this is the least bold prediction of the 3. It feels more like an inevitability. Let's not forget, in his rookie year, he finished 2nd in the voting. As a rookie, last season, before the injury, he was leading the league with 3.8 blocks. He wasn't even considered for the award because he only played 46 games. But the impact is undeniable. He doesn't just block shots, he erases them. He doesn't just alter shots, he psychologically terrorizes offenses. Guards drive into the lane, see him, and just immediately nope out of there. His wingspan is a no-fly zone. He can guard the screener in a pick and roll and still recover in time to contest the guard at the rim. It's something we've never seen before. He has the shot-blocking instincts of a Dikembe Mutombo, the perimeter mobility of a Kevin Durant, and the court coverage of a Hurricane. The only thing that has ever stopped him from winning this award is games played. If this 21-year-old phenom stays healthy for the majority of the season, he's not just the favorite for DPOY, he's a runaway lock. There's no one else in the conversation. He is, by himself, a top 5 defense. And this year, he's going to get the hardware to prove it. Prediction number 2, Wemby will finish in the top 3 of the MVP voting. Now this one is a little spicier because the MVP award is about more than just stats. It's about narrative and it's about winning. And Wemby is about to have both in spades. Let's talk narrative first. Is there a better story in the league than this? The alien, the unicorn, the most hyped prospect since LeBron James, gets hit with a terrifying, career-threatening injury. He doesn't just recover, he goes on a spiritual and physical quest, training like a martial arts master, and comes back stronger, more focused, more dangerous than ever. That's a story straight out of a Hollywood movie. It's the comeback of the year, and voters eat that stuff up. But the narrative is nothing without the wins. And this is where that new-look Spurs roster comes in. This isn't the 22-win team from his rookie year. This team is built to compete now. With Fox running the point, they'll have a dynamic, high-paced offense with Vassell, Johnson, and the new rookies, They have shooting and scoring Kreisneel over the floor. They're not just going to be better, they're going to be a problem. When the Spurs are winning 50 games and looking like a real threat in the West, and Wemby is putting up his usual absurd 25, 12, and 4 blocks, how can you not put him in the MVP conversation? He makes an impact that no other superstar can replicate. He breaks the game on both ends of the floor. His value over a replacement player is basically infinite. He's already proven he can dominate. This year, he'll have the team's success to back it up. He won't just be a candidate, he'll be on the final ballot. Jokic, Giannis, Luka, you've got company. And that brings us to our third and final prediction. The San Antonio Spurs will make the playoffs, not the play-in tournament. The playoffs, for the first time since the 2018-19 season, the Spurs are going dancing. This is the prediction that ties everything together. It's the ultimate validation of the front office's moves, of Wembanyama's recovery, and of the dawn of this new era. Look at the progression. They went from 22 wins in 2020-3-20-4 to 34 wins last season, and that was with Wemby missing almost half the year. That 34-win total is incredibly misleading. Now, you add a full season of a healthy, motivated Wemby. You add an all-star point guard in De'Aaron Fox. You add 2 lottery picks who are ready to contribute. You add the internal development of guys like Vassell and Soap. All signs point to another massive leap in the win column. The West is a gauntlet. We all know that. But this Spurs team has the ultimate trump card. In a close game, who's going to score on Wemby at the rim? How are you going to stop the Fox-Wemby two-man game? They have a legitimate superstar, a co-star, and a deep, athletic supporting cast. They have the talent, they have the coaching, and most importantly, they have a generational player who is tired of waiting and tired of losing. Making the playoffs isn't just a goal for this team. It's a declaration. It's a statement to the rest of the NBA that the Spurs dynasty isn't just a thing of the past. It's back, and it's being led by a 7-foot Frenchman who trained with monks and plays basketball like he's from another planet. The days of the Spurs being an easy win on the schedule are over. The drought is ending. The silver and black are back in the postseason. So, let's put it all together. This isn't just wishful thinking. This is the logical conclusion of everything we've seen. A player with unprecedented talent faces a moment of true adversity. He responds not with fear, but with an almost maniacal level of dedication. His organization, in turn, rewards that dedication by building a legitimate contender around him overnight. The result is a perfect storm, a season where Victor Wembanyama will not just return to form, but will ascend to a new level of greatness. He'll claim his throne as the league's best defender, he'll force his way into the MVP debate, and he will drag the San Antonio Spurs back to the place they believe they belong, the NBA playoffs. It's a story of resilience, of ambition, and of the terrifying potential of a player who we're all still trying to fully comprehend. We're about to witness a legend being forged in the fires of adversity. The 2025-26 season is going to be the year that Victor Wembanyama stops being the future of the NBA and becomes its present. The rest of the league has been warned. The takeover is happening. But that's just what I think. I want to hear from you, the real hoop heads. What do you think is the most likely of these 3 predictions? Do you think Wemby can really crack the top 3 in MVP voting in just his 3rd year? And what's the ceiling for this new-look Spurs team? Are they just a playoff team? Or could they actually be a dark horse contender? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get a real debate going. If you enjoyed this deep dive and you love talking hoops, do me a favor and hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We're dropping content like this all the time, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for tuning in, basketball family. Until next time, keep watching the skies. The alien is here to stay. Peace.